Welcome back, FLR community. I hope you're all well and having an incredible day as always. And in this video, we're going to talk about the upcoming snapshots for both EXFI holders and holders of FLR. That's the FLR token. And this is the DFLR snapshot from FLR Finance. So if you're not familiar with FLR Finance, they're a company that's actually building a suite of different products which have initially started and launched on Songbird. It's going to further expand to the FLR network and then into other networks for a multi-chain future. They're building a DeFi economy through sustainable yield, and sustainable yield is probably the key word right there, because this is an innovation that I think is really promising for all users of DeFi applications. So just to give you an example, this is FLRX, which is currently launched on Songbird, and this is the decentralized exchange, but they also have FLR Farm, FLR Loans, and obviously FLR Drops, which is a marketplace. Now they also have some upcoming products which they're going to launch in the near future, such as the ability to wrap assets and bring them onto the Songbird network, and obviously this functionality will eventually migrate over to the FLR network. So that's a little bit of background about FLR Finance, but here is the important things that you need to know about the upcoming DFLR snapshot. So what is DFLR? DFLR is a ticket used to claim YFLR to gain membership into the FLR Finance ecosystem. So whenever you hear DFLR, just know that that can be exchanged for YFLR in the very near future. Once DFLR is received, users can visit a claim page to claim their YFLR after viewing a set of tutorials and agreeing to a set of basic terms and conditions. Now, for those familiar with the Songbird network, this is akin to the EXFI token, and it's basically going to be the governance token or the second governance token of the FLR Finance ecosystem. So here are some of the use cases. It can be used as a replacement fee for FLRX. It's the secondary governance token, as I just mentioned, and that's under YFIN. You're going to be able to stake this in governance staking to earn yield from the APY cloud, and I think this is the best feature. You're going to be allowed to vote on listings on FLRX and also different trading pairs. Stake it on FLR Farm to earn the primary governance token, that's YFIN. You're going to be able to participate in liquidity pools, participate in launch pads on FLR Farm, replacement fees for FLR Wrap, providing it as collateral for FLR Loans, and finally providing it as coverage on FLR Mutual. Lots of use cases for this token, but the one that I'm really excited about is this one here, and that's the APY cloud, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. But first, let's talk about the snapshot details. So as you can see from this picture, 30 million of the DFLR will be distributed to EXFI holders, and that's basically the equivalent on the Songbird network. So if you're holding EXFI, you're going to be eligible to participate in this airdrop. One important thing to note though is that EXFI holders that have EXFI on an exchange are not going to be eligible, and also those who are holding EXFI in liquidity pools outside of the FLR Finance ecosystem. If you do have EXFI locked in pools on FLR Finance, that's going to be included, and also if you just hold it in your wallet. Now, 9 million of this DFLR is actually going to be available and airdropped to holders of FLR. That's the FLR token, right? There has also been 1 million DFLR that's already been paid, and it was basically as an incentive for people to use FLR Finance on the Songbird network. We've got 40 million locked up for APY staking, and that's with the APY cloud, more on that in a second. 20 million, which is going to be granted for the FLR Finance Foundation for governance usage. And finally, 10 million DFLR will be granted to the FLR Finance team with a 12-month vesting period. It's also important to note that the 30 million DFLR airdrop to EXFI holders will exclude the current Foundation and APY Cloud EXFI holdings. So it's all fair and legit. Now, if you're wondering about the different ratios, we have them here. If you're holding EXFI, you're probably going to get the best deal. you're going to get around 1 DFLR for every 1.5 EXFI that you hold. And for the FLR holders, you're going to get 1 DFLR for every 1,111 FLR you hold. So these figures are estimates, that's something important to note, and they may fluctuate a little bit, but you can expect this as a ballpark figure. Now, before we get onto the when snapshot, I basically want to talk to you a little bit about some of the functionality that this token will actually give you, starting with the APY cloud. Now, the APY cloud is probably one of the most exciting innovations from my perspective that we can have in DeFi, and it's going to allow for a predictable yield that is generated by the different products hosted by FLR Finance. So what do I mean by that? It's basically going to aggregate all of the different fees from FLRX, that's a decentralized exchange, FLR Drops, which is the NFT marketplace, we've got FLR Wrap. All of these different components are all going to feed into this APY cloud. They're going to start gathering fees and make this pool of different assets that can be distributed to holders of both YFIN and YFLR. The APY cloud is going to use a dynamic system where the actual rate, the APY, is variable based on how much income the platform is actually generating. So this is something that we've never actually seen, and it's an innovation by FLR Finance, which, as I said before, I'm extremely excited about. And the best thing is that if you're holding some of these governance tokens, it's really going to allow you to benefit from the success of the platform. Now, onto a governance, which is basically how you access some of this APY cloud rewards. Governance staking takes place on FLR Gov, accessed by the FLR Farm navigation system. So holders of YFLR and YFIN can participate in governance staking at any time, and they're free to enter and exit this staking pool freely. Participation in governance staking opens up a few benefits for the stakers. First of all, governance staking rewards in the form of YFIN, YFLR, FLR, and other F assets. And I also believe that this also encompasses wrapped assets too. It's also going to allow people that stake to create governance proposals and also vote on these proposals. Now, on this website, they do go into depth about the APY cloud, but I feel like this is a subject that really needs to be addressed on its own because it's very expansive and there is a lot of different details that I need to cover. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the when snapshot. And that's actually really interesting because the snapshot doesn't have a specific date. It's going to be announced retroactively. So here we are on Twitter, and this is Thanasimos' account, and he is a project manager at FLR Finance, and the window, he said, has just opened. Because the snapshot is partially based on holders of FLR, it couldn't happen before FLR was distributed, right? Now, as mentioned here, the snapshot will not be announced, so it could happen theoretically between any time once the TDE happened, the token distribution event, which has already happened, is obviously a past event, and anytime into the future. Now, here's where the speculation comes in, so please take this with a grain of salt. It's very possible that the snapshot has already occurred, but in my opinion, I don't think that this is likely. If we go over here to some frequently asked questions on the FLR page, we can see that the hot topic at the minute, the FLR improvement proposal, is actually only going to be activated once 66% of the initial 15% of the FLR that was distributed is actually available, and that's going to be once it's withdrawn from exchanges. So since starting recording for this video, the proposal has actually been announced. So the proposal is going to go live on the 20th of this month. That's on this upcoming Friday, and it's actually going to start and go live 1 week after. I had a good old ramble on this topic, and you can find my thoughts and opinions on this proposal linked in the top right. But for those planning to actually participate, I would highly recommend reading the proposal for yourself. Okay, and why is this important? I think this is important because the FLR finance team, they want to accommodate for as many people as possible. And we know the problem with snapshots and exchanges. It's in the interest of FLR finance to have as much FLR off of the exchanges when this snapshot happens, because they want a wide distribution of their token, right? It's advantageous for them because they get a wider user base. They can cast their net very far with the people that have withdrawn their FLR from exchanges. Now, it's only been a couple of days after the TDE at the time of recording this video, and not all of these popular exchanges have announced withdrawals from the FLR token from their exchange. So here's some things that I'm predicting. Again, this is heavy speculation, so please do take it with a grain of salt. I personally don't think that the snapshot is going to occur until the FLR team have announced that the proposal has gone live, because this marks a significant milestone where the FLR team have actually thought that there is enough people to vote on this proposal, which means that there is a lot of FLR that has been withdrawn from the exchanges. So that is pretty much the video. There is an upcoming snapshot for holders of FLR and also the EXFI token. The snapshot could have already occurred. I'm predicting or speculating that it's going to happen sometime around the proposal going live, but we won't actually know when that happens. The snapshot will be announced retroactively, meaning that it will be announced after it has occurred. So if you are holding FLR, please, 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 I hope you've learned your lesson. Get it off of the exchange and be included in this snapshot. Otherwise, you're just leaving money on the table. If you're new here, please feel free to like and subscribe. I will be covering all of this in detail as and when we get more information and as the products actually start to launch. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, I'm out.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.